first training of our mastermind group. I'm pretty excited about this.
Yeah, this is great. We're excited to get rolling. So let's just get right into it.
Okay, so let's talk about what you look like from a brand perspective. And Kelly and I have quite a lot of experience with this and working with influencers through the Content Factory. As you are building out your media kits and as you're thinking of how you're going to be approaching brands and marketing managers, it's really important that you start thinking about what you look like from a brand's perspective. And so let's get into what good looks like here. And Kelly, do you want to pick up?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing you want to do is, like Carrie was talking about, is you want to think like a marketing manager. So something that a lot of the marketing managers that we work with lately have been dealing with is, and something I'm sure you're all well aware of, are the Facebook Google algorithm changes. So suddenly it's a lot harder for people to get the same reach that they were getting with their business pages before, but Facebook is still an incredibly vast resource for any marketer. And so they're looking for a new way to access their customers and potential customers that go beyond, you know, Facebook ads and Facebook pages and all of that. And Facebook groups are a really great place to start. And a big part of the reason for that is because just the nature of how these Facebook groups are is that a lot of them are pretty highly targeted.
Yes. Yeah, and that's what marketing managers are really focused on, because it doesn't matter if you've got a huge group if the group isn't well targeted and their target, I guess, buyer is not easily identified within the description of your group, right? So what you're trying to do is align your group's membership with brands that would want to reach out to that group, right?
Exactly.
So we've got a couple of groups in the travel space, especially female travel, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great, because that is a highly defined target audience. Female travelers, you know, well, what might they need? Probably sick luggage, you know, and so all of a sudden all of the luggage companies are now on your radar. Maybe travel beauty products. You see ladies asking about this all the time in the travel groups that I participate in. What's the best shampoo? You know?
Right, and there's all kinds of other things that you can like really think broadly about this topic, because it could be, if we're talking about female travelers, maybe there are co-working or co-living spaces like digital nomad camps, like that sort of thing. Maybe there's even hotels and resorts, that sort of thing. If their target demographic is who your membership audience is, then you have a really good fit there. And what that says to a marketing manager is that, number one, they're going to be able to directly access these people in a way that they wouldn't be able to do through Facebook ads or through their business page. And also, it's coming along with your stamp of approval, which is like, if they're already in the group and they go there and they see that as a resource, which I know a lot of you have really built groups that people see as a strong resource for them, then they get all that credibility along with it. So it can be really appealing to a marketing manager. However, it's beyond just setting the targeting and getting all of that right. You also want to know, because when a marketing manager comes to look at your Facebook group to decide if this is a good fit, they're not just going to do like a quick sweep. They're going to pull out all of their tools.
Yes.
And so we're going to, through the next couple of weeks as we go through this, teach you guys how to use the tools that marketing managers use to analyze your Facebook group so that you can then make corrections and put yourself in the best position so that when they're using their tools to look at you, they're getting the best possible story of what you have to offer.
So some of the tools that we've outlined here, SEMrush, which tells you how much, search traffic your website is generating. It tells you which keywords your website ranks for. So if you rank number one for, let's say a Bali travel guide, and then you've got, you start pitching resorts in Bali, it would be really valuable for them if your guide ranks number one for, let's say, Bali resorts, for them to be prominently featured. That can get you some affiliate stuff. But it's something that they're going to look at is, well, how much traffic basically does your website get? And there's no way for them to know that accurately. SEMrush is going to tell them what your SEO looks like and which keywords you rank for, and so they can identify pages that they might want to partner with you on in exchange for a link. Alexa tells you it basically ranks all of the websites on the internet. Google, I believe, is number one. And it goes from like 1 to 20 million. And then after that, it stops keeping track. You want your Alexa ranking to be under 1 million. That is something that the marketing managers look at. And again, it's not a super accurate representation of the exact traffic that your website gets, but it's a quick and dirty way for them to, I guess, check and see how popular your website is outside of having access to your Google Analytics. But if you do have great website stats, by all means, pull those Google Analytics. If you know that your blog posts rank number one for certain keywords that are going to be related to the brands that you're pitching, make sure that you highlight that in your media kit. And we'll talk about the media kit here in a minute. And then obviously, I would assume that you guys are all quite familiar with Facebook group insights, but you should know those stats frontwards and backwards all the time. So if anybody gets on the phone with you and starts asking about, how many members are you projected to have at the end of the year? Because ideally, this is going to be, you're trying to get contracts with ads, not just one-offs. You want to secure contracts with brand partners that are going to continue to pay you for, let's say, 6 months or at least a 3-month trial run, right? So you should be able to forecast, a rough estimate as to what your audience is going to be like at the end of the contract, if it's 3 months or 6 months, because that, again, makes you more attractive.
Absolutely. And also we should mention that for SEMrush, all of these are, Alexa is free to use. Mm-hmm. All of these are free to use except for SEMrush. However, SEMrush of all of these tools is actually probably the most powerful and is going to give you the most insight, not just into your brand, your website, but into your competitors' brands and websites, and into these brands that you're trying to create partnerships with. So there's just so much insight there. We're going to talk about all of that a little more later. However, if you would like to check it out, just look below. I'll post a link. We have an affiliate relationship with SEMrush, and that link can get you 7 days free. So you can pull all kinds of reports, you can download stuff, you can keep all of it. So even if you decide not to use it beyond the 7 days, I really recommend that you get in there and dig around and check it out and figure out where you're starting from, because that's a really important piece of information for you to have right now.
And it might surprise you. You might think what keywords you rank for, but SEMrush is really going to put those stats out there and also attach a dollar value to it. So if you can say that a page that you're able to rank number one for is worth, let's say, $10,000 per month via SEMrush, those are stats that marketing managers understand. And those are stats that marketing managers want to get in on. So check out SEMrush and check out your site, because you might find some fun or not so fun surprises in there. Mm-hmm. So let's get into your Facebook group itself. Your group members are your biggest asset and your biggest draw for marketing managers. You probably already know that, but what that means is that you need to know your group members and what they want or need. So going back to that female travel or example, right? So we've got luggage, we've got beauty products, we've got resorts. These are all things, and you probably have an idea already based on what are the common complaints and questions that members in your group have.
Exactly. And you also have ways that I'm sure a lot of you are already using to find out if you don't know what your members want. You can ask them this in the questions at the beginning when they enter the group. Mm-hmm. You can poll them. I know polls always seem to do really well in our groups. People love to give their opinion. And so go ahead and take advantage of that. And if you don't feel like you know, or if you'd like to expand upon what you think you know they would like, that's a great way to do it.
That also tells the marketing manager that you're in touch with that kind of data and that you actively seek answers to the questions that they're probably going to have. So it's a good idea to start running these polls now. So in a week or so, when you start pitching marketing managers and brands, you can say, hey, I'm approaching you because out of, all of the problems that my group members have, your company offers the solution or one of them. And,
For sure.
you know, so that can bring the brands to the yard. But before you can start selling to your group members, you need to know what you should be selling them. And group member personas are a really good way to kind of outline this. And you can put this as a one page in your media kit, and it will help explain your group members to the marketing managers, right? So what should be included? I would say what the common interests of your group are. So if you've got like a group for Cocker Spaniel owners, well, that sounds like a dog food play to me.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, go reach out to the toy companies. You should have a pretty good idea of what your group members' common interests are. From there, you can start determining what they like to buy, what kind of problems they have. What do they buy frequently? You know, what don't they like?
Yeah, and you probably have a pretty strong idea of that, right? Because once again, people love to make their opinion known. So you probably have a sense of some of these things already.
And you should also include demographic information about your group.
Yes, marketing managers love some good demo info.
The next step, number 2 here, is your overall online presence. Because to be clear, you are not just selling your Facebook group, you are selling yourself as a representative of this group. And marketing managers are going to scope you out, not just your Facebook group. So you need to make sure that your online presence looks like somebody that a marketing manager might want to partner with.
Exactly, and be careful of the kind of content that you post, because the thing is that when a brand partners with you, especially in a Facebook group, I know you guys know how this is, like if you've got, even in a really large group, you're probably pretty well known among the people who frequent your group. So you really are, and you and your Facebook group are kind of one and the same. And so if on your other social media profiles, you're posting things that are like maybe a little too controversial or like a little too, I hate to say it, but like political, I think that can sometimes be a problem, because managers are then trying to decide, like, do they want to align with you as their brand? And that can be a tricky thing, and they get spooked easily. But marketing managers are risk averse. What they're not trying to do is go have a conversation with their legal department.
No. And so if there's any kind of, I don't know about this, the answer is going to be no. So you need to make sure that across the internet, you look very clean. So your LinkedIn, does your LinkedIn talk about how you manage a very popular Facebook group?
It should, because that's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
All of you know that it's not easy to grow these groups, and all of you have sizable audiences. So you know what that takes. So put it out there. Don't just say you have this big group either. Like, outline that. Bullet that shit out. Yeah. What does that involve? Grew it to XYZ number in 1 year.
Right.
You know, like, whatever it takes, like, really demonstrate that expertise, because that is a skill that you have developed and that is extremely valuable. So make sure that you're tooting your own horn on that one.
Instagram as well, and Twitter. I mean, when you Google your name, what pops up? They're definitely going to check out your LinkedIn. They're probably going to check out your social media profiles. Anything that I would say is on like the first page of Google is fair game. They might even scroll over to page 2 or 3. Honestly, the marketing managers, especially those that are working for big brands, do not play. Agency partners that you might be working with aren't going to play around either, because they have to take you as a legit brand partner to the marketing manager or CEO who is either going to yay or nay it. And you want to make sure that across all channels it's a solid yay and that looks consistent.
Right, and you want to, once again, keep your eye out for anything that could give them pause, because I know that when we go to brand managers and marketing managers and we help, like, a lot of times we'll help them find brand ambassadors, which isn't too different than what we're talking about here. And those brand ambassadors, if they've got just even the slightest hint of something on them, some kind of controversy, something that could potentially cause them a PR problem later, or something that could potentially cause them a legal problem later, they choose to not go with those people, and they will go with someone with a smaller audience and who they are less excited about to avoid that risk. So make sure, like, go over your stuff with a fine-tooth comb and make sure that there's nothing scary in there.
think like a marketing manager, because that's probably who you're going to be working with. If you're not working with a marketing manager, then you're going to be working with somebody from an agency. So me and Kelly, right, who are managing social media and ad spends on behalf of our clients, right? So you're either going to talk to us or you're going to talk to a marketing manager. Either way, we all speak the same language, and that's analytics.
Yes, if it's not a number, I don't really care, because if it can't be measured, then I can't take it up the chain and say, here's where the ROI is going to come from.
Right.
So what you really want to be thinking about is, what numbers do I have that I can take to them? What analytics do I have that will demonstrate to them things that will matter to them, like your reach, how big your audience is. If you can run a poll and say, you know, I polled my people and 46% of them said that what they wanted most was exactly this thing that you're selling, that sort of thing, anything that you can point to. And when you first start out, you might not have a lot of this stuff. Pull together what you can, but a lot of the focus of this whole mastermind is going to be how to develop those things. How do you develop those case studies? How do you present the numbers in a way that are going to make you look the best? But right now you probably already have some stuff. I mean, even just the number of people in your group is a great place to start.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Brands, as we've discussed, are hyper cautious about teaming up with the wrong partners. And we keep bringing it up because we can't emphasize it enough. You really need to pass the sniff test to these marketing managers and agency types. Having a media kit is going to help with that. Having a detailed outline of who your group members are, knowing your stats, all of this is going to help you pass the sniff test a lot faster. And it's going to be more difficult early on when you don't have those case studies. So you can't say, you know, the last time I ran a promoted post campaign with a similar brand, it yielded XYZ results, right? But as soon as you start generating results for the brand partners that you work with, you need to start capturing all of those case studies and then ask the brand partner for a testimonial as well.
Yeah, people don't do that nearly enough. Mm-hmm. I know that it feels weird, but if you are waiting around for people to write testimonials for you, you're never going to get any.
You've got to ask.
Yeah, ask early and often, and most people will. And what you do is just anytime someone says to you that they've had a good experience with your Facebook group, go ahead and get that testimonial. We have pages of testimonials for the work that we do for the company as a whole, for individual products. We keep all of those together because testimonials in basically every industry, and tons of studies that have been done, consistently increase conversion rates. And it can be the same with your brand partners, because a testimonial is someone else saying that they had a great experience working with you. So start collecting those as often as you can.
You probably already have a few in your inbox.
You probably do.
Right?
You probably do.
For these large groups, how many people have said, thank you, I get so much value out of this group. Thank you. Without this group, I wouldn't have been able to, you know, we get some of those, and our Facebook groups are not very large at this point.
And if you think about it right now, you can probably even think about people in your group who participate a lot, who maybe have a big following of their own. You know who those superstars are in your group, so don't hesitate to reach out to those people and ask for it, because that would be a great place to start.
Yes. So let's get into the media kit, because I think that this is probably going to sound pretty scary to some of you. You don't need to be afraid of developing a media kit. There are tools that will make it simple for you, but you need to act like you've been here before.
Yes.
And a media kit really demonstrates that you know exactly, you know, what you're doing out here on these digital marketing streets.
Yeah, because if you show up to a brand and you're like, I'd really like to partner with you, but you haven't in any way outlined how or what that might look like or what you're bringing to the table or any of that, it's not going to look great. But if you come to them and you bring them a media kit that's put together and shows them everything that they need to know, that can be a huge selling point, and it shows that you're professional, which they're going to want somebody professional.
So here's what should be included in your media kit. And actually, if you go to canva.com, they've got a whole bunch of templates.
They do, and that's a free tool.
That is a free tool. I would recommend using Proposify, because then you're able to track all of your data. And we've got a Proposify affiliate link that gets you 2 months for free. You're going to be able to download various versions of your media kit. It's just a plug and play They've got templates too. It's what we use at the Content Factory for our proposals. And it significantly increased our closure rate. It's great. And you can also tack on a contract right in there.
And doesn't it tell you how long people spend on each section of the, which is so cool because you start to understand which parts of your offering are most appealing, because that's where they're going to spend the most time. And also maybe there's stuff that you're offering that they just skip right over, and then you know, like, well, maybe that's not such a draw, and so you can like reanalyze, is this something you even want to offer? Is there something you can do to tweak it? Is it the price? What is it? But it's going to give you more data to work with.
So here's what you want to have included in your media kit. You want an intro to your group, probably a little info about yourself too, what made you start the group, you know, the history of the group, just a couple of sentences. You want to then have a section for your group member personas.
Yes.
Right? What are the buyer personas, which is, you know, more marketing person jargon, right? But the buyer persona is actually critically important to the marketing managers and also the agency types. It tells them that you know who your audience is and can describe it to them. And so that's what you're going to do in that section. Then you're also going to have a section on your website stats, your group stats, any stats that make you look good. Include any polls that tell marketing managers about what your group members are interested in. You're going to have a section of case studies and ideally testimonials.
Yes, if you don't have those right now, that's okay, but you definitely want to keep your eye on that moving forward as something that you want to develop sooner rather than later.
And then on the last page of your media kit, you want to give them the goods. So how much does it cost and what kind of ad pack? We'll get into that, and there's a lot, I guess, kind of detail and nuance when it comes to ad packaging. But you want to have that definitely in the media kit. It's worth saying that this is a new field.
Yes, that's what's so exciting about it.
And these Facebook groups really took off in a way that I think a lot of digital marketing types were behind on.
I think that they still are, right?
Right, absolutely. And the algorithm updates, here's what everyone knows. They know that they just got screwed by Facebook's algorithm updates. And so now all of a sudden they have to pay to play. They have to pay to get in front of an audience that's already liked them, right? And so if they can either pay Facebook and not really have quite as much targeting, right? Or they can, or possibly even reach, right?
Right.
Or they can partner with you and you can use your group and the advantageous algorithm that is going to put that message in front of more of your audience than the brands. It's a new thing.
Yeah, well, and that's all the more reason to put together your media kit, because the thing is to be honest with you, this is what it looks like on our side when we're working with these marketing managers. Now, this isn't everyone, but this is enough people out there that it matters. If you're a marketing manager for a big brand, chances are you've been in this game for a minute, right?
Yep.
Which means you're a little older, right? And so these marketing managers, I would say, are mostly 40 and older.
Yep.
And so you need to understand that that's who you're talking to. And now what they know is that just the bottom fell out of their Facebook numbers.
Yep.
It's the sky is falling and they don't know why.
All at once to everyone. And they do know why. Right.
Well, they know why.
They're trying to figure out workarounds for that. And so when you approach these marketing managers, you can even say, hey, you've probably noticed that your reach has taken a real nosedive, huh? And they're going to be like, yeah, actually, now that you mention it, all of the arrows in those reports are red and pointing downward, you know? So,
and they don't get the Facebook group thing, not yet. So you're going to need to educate them a little bit with a lot of these people, I think, because this is something that we're going through with our clients right now, is that they're like, okay, so what can we do to change this Facebook situation? And we're coming to them and talking about Facebook groups. And it just takes a little education, because sometimes they don't necessarily understand what they are, or they don't understand how they're different from a Facebook business page. They don't understand the power of it. So the more you can do to outline, I've got this many people, they are this kind of person, you know what I mean? Like that is just music to their ears.
Link them to some articles about how Facebook groups are like the only way that they're that they're going to be able to save themselves from the Facebook analytics apocalypse, which is raining down hard on them right now.
Yeah, it's a real struggle.
And there are all kinds of articles that you can Google. Maybe we'll post some in the Facebook group.
Yeah.
Too. That can explain from an expert's perspective so that you don't have to. Right?
Exactly. But you have a lot of leeway because, as it says on the slide, you are the one who's going to be educating a lot of these people who haven't considered this as an avenue before. And that is such a sweet place to be in.
They're already spending money on Facebook ads. You can tell if the brands are active on social media. Do their posts have some likes on them? Does it look like some interaction there? Then they're probably boosting those posts.
Definitely.
Optimize over time, and as you get feedback and experience, you can tweak your packages. So off the bat, you know that you're going to have to sell packages of, let's say, you don't want to just do one promoted post. You want to be selling packages of 3 promoted posts, because it takes 3 times in advertising rules for somebody to see your message before they actually hear it. But as you find packages that work better, or really blow it out of the water from an ROI perspective, for the brand partner, then you can raise your rates.
Exactly. And depending on the industry that you're in, I think that certain industries, you're going to start figuring out what these brands want. And it might not necessarily be exactly what you're offering at the beginning. What you do want to do when you're making your media kit is you do want to have specific pricing and packages in there, because once again, it shows them, you know, like you've been here before, you know what you're doing, and it makes you look more professional. But you can also have a line in there that's like, if you'd like to discuss other ways to partner, you know, I'm open to that. And maybe they will come to you, and maybe there's a certain way that people in that industry are more interested in partnering that might be different than what you're offering, but you'll figure it out. You want to like leave the door open to that.
Right. So let's get into targeting potential brand partners. You want to start with what your group members need, because if you're selling ice to Eskimos, I mean, you got to be a really good salesperson to sell ice to Eskimos. So like, I would recommend that you just don't even try.
No, that's not where you're going to get the most success, I don't think.
Maybe parka companies. Though.
Yeah.
You know, what's the North Face up to?
Exactly.
Let's go look. So you want to start with a tracking spreadsheet, and it's simple, right? And I'll link this up in the Facebook group so everyone can have access to it. But you want to keep track of who you're reaching out to. And Mixmax is a very sneaky email tool. It's like $9 a month. But then you're able to track who opens your emails and when, and if they click on any links. And so that's really valuable information. I would think that would be worth like the $9 or whatever.
It really is.
We don't even have an affiliate relationship with Mixmax. It's just
we just still tell everyone about it.
Yeah. Not the clients though. We don't want the clients to have this. But you want to have it, because if somebody is opening your email a bunch of times, that is a pretty good cue that you might want to follow up, because they're interested. Or if nobody's ever opened your email, that means that like your message hasn't been seen. Yeah. So maybe you've got the wrong contact person, you know?
Maybe your subject line just wasn't clear enough or appealing enough. So it doesn't hurt to, if they haven't opened it, try them again with a different subject line. If that still doesn't work, try to find somebody different within the company.
Right.
I know I heard Kris Jenner say in an interview the other day that the way that she built her Monsters empire is that she says, if anyone ever tells you no, you're talking to the wrong person.
Well,
and like, I think that's a good attitude.
Yeah, it is. So you probably already have an idea of companies that your group members love already. They're probably already talking about brands. Brands are often the solution to problems, right? And go through your history and find out what people are recommending.
Exactly. Like going back to the female traveler example, you can even just go in and put a post like, hey, ladies, I'm in the market for a new suitcase. Like, what are yours?
Right.
What are your favorites? Show me a picture, you know, and then suddenly you get an idea of what people are interested in, what people like, and that sort of thing.
Do the photos tend to be more hard side luggage or soft side luggage? That's good information for a brand partner to know. And when you have those tricks in your tool bag, you can offer them proactively to brand partners, you know? If they're deciding whether to promote one product over another, you can do like a poll and find out for them. Because the idea is you want to maximize profitability. You want it to be a good deal for the brand, because you want those checks to keep coming.
Yes, love checks.
I love checks too.
Checks are my favorite.
So You also want to look for brands that are already active on social media, because that tells you that they've got a budget already.
Yes, because you're going to want somebody that's got some money to spend, and ideally somebody who's already spending money specifically on Facebook. It's going to be a harder sell to a company that isn't doing Facebook.
Don't be afraid to get local either. I know that we've got at least one local group in this particular mastermind, and I think it's based in Madrid.
Yeah.
But if you are, it's like a travelers in Madrid group, I think, or expats. Even better.
I think we have a couple from Madrid, actually. Madrid is doing big things in the Facebook group world.
Right? You
Shout out to Madrid.
Right? So the local Madrid examples. Well, what problems, again, do your members have? I bet you if they're expats, they've got issues with taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So go find some expat accountants who maybe your group members are already working with and recommend, and then pitch them an ad deal. You know?
Exactly.
So it doesn't have to be these national brands. You can get local, because everyone's still trying to figure out the Facebook game. And if you give them an attractive offer to test it out and see how it works, and then it does work, you're going to keep getting those checks.
Exactly. And also, I think you can be attractive even at a smaller group size to a local, like 10,000 might not be huge for like a national brand,
right?
But 10,000 highly targeted people, let's say you have a bunch of expats in your group, and then suddenly you can partner maybe with a local realtor who specializes in working with expats,
right?
Or something like that. Like to them, that 10,000 people is a huge number that they wouldn't normally get to access.
So here's another sneaky trick. You can move over to LinkedIn, and you want to search for the title marketing manager, or you want to search for the title agency owner. And there's my profile. You can come find
That's
me.
a very nice profile picture.
I just updated it, actually. Thank you for saying that.
It's great.
I try and put my best, most airbrushed face forward.
Of course.
On LinkedIn.
Pop a little Facetune on that and you're good. Yes.
Okay, so what I like about you guys targeting agency owners is that agencies work with multiple brands. So they might have other companies that if, company A isn't interested, maybe company B, C, or F could be.
Exactly.
So look for people like me and Kelly, owners of agencies or marketing managers. You can also contact the brand directly via their website.
Yes.
So that is all an option. But again, they're going to ask you about your Google Analytics, because they don't understand Facebook group analytics very well. You can give them those too, but just be prepared for them to ask, what's your organic traffic?
Right. And we should be clear too. If you haven't already, I know a lot of you have, but if you haven't already, you're going to want to start developing your website, because once again, when you talk to these marketing managers, they're going to want to know about more than just your Facebook group. You're going to be more attractive to them if you also have relevant content that ranks for keywords that would be of interest to them.
Mm-hmm.
All of that's going to just put you in a much better light, and it's going to it just makes you look more attractive and creates better partnership opportunities.
You also want to be able to demonstrate that you can drive traffic from your Facebook group to a website. The only analytics that you're going to have on that consistently is your website. And you should be using your Facebook group to drive traffic to your website anyway. But that's going to give you some case studies and hard data about the kind of traffic that you can be sending with your promoted posts.
Definitely.
Then you want to write a pitch email or, Facebook message. You're already on Facebook. Focus on what the brand is trying to sell and why it's a good fit for your audience, and then positioning yourself as a great solution to reach out at targeted audience that they really want to get in front of anyway.
Absolutely.
And it is a numbers game, so you got to send out a lot of these messages. And if you get a 10% response rate, I'd be surprised.
Exactly. And I think that's so important to talk about, just because I think people get discouraged and don't, because you're going to be throwing a lot of stuff at the wall and see what sticks. Do not take this as like a personal rejection or take it to heart. You're just playing the game right now. And like Harry said, it's a numbers game.
Pro tip, you always need to disclose when you're working with a brand partner. If somebody is giving you goods or services or cash in exchange for, you're promoting them in the group, you have to mention it.
Yes.
So let's get to homework, because Who doesn't love homework? This chick loves it.
Yeah, it might be summer. Too bad. Homework.
Homework. You can take your computer to the beach and do it there. So you need to build the bones of your media kit and Proposify, and this is always going to be like a work in progress. You're going to tweak it over time, but build it out, because then you're going to be able to start pitching, which is what we're going to get into in the next training course.
I'll find some guides to how to create a media kit and pop it in the Facebook group.
I think I already did one. I did that yesterday.
Oh, look at you.
So
okay, so that should be there.
Already in that. So you want to develop that spreadsheet of brands and marketing managers to target. And if you have any questions, ask for feedback in the Facebook group. So by this time next week, I would really like to see you guys have a list of people that you're going to reach out to. And I would love to have your media kits at least mostly ready, and we'll give you feedback on them if you post them in the group, so that you'll have something to reach out with.
Yes, and I'll post, I have a video on how to find anybody's email address that could be really helpful for that too, so I'll make sure I post that.
Okay, so I think that wraps this portion of the training.
Yes.
If you guys have any questions, again, please ask them in the Facebook group. I can't wait to see what your media kits look like once you start building them out and Proposify. If you want to get crazy, you can check out Canva for that too. But spend some time looking online at what good media kits look like, and then pick the template that works best for you and get rolling on that project.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, talk to you guys next week.
All right, bye.